students focused on prestigious names and high salaries. She wanted to meet the students eager for courtroom experience and for a chance to make a difference. She'd been doing these interviews for years. Not much surprised her at this point. But she had not been expecting her day to begin with a strange girl appearing unannounced in her interview room. "Carrie," she prompted when the girl didn't respond. "Why are you looking for a prosecutor?" A hardness entered the girl's eyes. Her stare turned flinty. "My father was murdered, and the police are letting the woman who killed him get away with it. It's not right. Someone needs to do something." It occurred to Jessie that this could be some kind of prank. There were some jokers in her office and among her friends at the university. But she didn't think so. The girl's face was so intense it was hard to maintain eye contact. "This happened here, in Philly?" "Yes. You don't even know about it? And you're a prosecutor?" Carrie's face flushed. Her fingers twisted together with more urgency. Jessie reached out and touched the girl's hands, stilling them. "There are a lot of murders in the city, too many for me to be familiar with every one of them. I know that's an awful thing to think about, but it's true." Carrie's gaze lowered, and she seemed to look at Jessie's hand, covering her own, but she made no move to pull away. A second later, her eyes returned to Jessie's, and some of the hardness had dissipated. "My father's murder was on the news. It's still on the news. I hate it. It's like they're celebrating his death, like it's a good thing. It seems like every day those reporters find a new way to say something terrible about him. And meanwhile, the woman who killed him..." The girl's voice seemed to catch in her throat. "I'm not sure I understand," Jessie said. "Why would reporters say something terrible about a murder victim?" Then she got it. Suddenly, she recognized this girl. Everything fell into place. "You're talking about Corbin Keeley." It was true that the media couldn't get enough of Keeley, but also true that they'd painted him as a villain, and not for the first time. But that was for good reason, as far as Jessie was concerned. At the time of his death, Corbin Keeley had been a city councilman, a position he'd held for many years. The first time he'd been vilified by the media had been 3 or 4 years ago, when rumors had surfaced in the news that during his marriage, which had ended in a supposedly amicable divorce, he'd beaten his wife savagely. Somehow, they'd managed to keep the abuse a secret until a photograph of his ex-wife taken during their marriage had been discovered by the ex-wife's sister and leaked to the media. Jessie still remembered it. Dark bruising had covered most of her face. One of her eyes had been swollen shut. Her jaw had looked huge with swelling. And yet, Keeley had survived the torrent of outrage. He was a career politician with clout and connections and powerful people. His ex-wife's vocal denials of the abuse had probably helped to some extent, too, although Jessie had not found her believable. Keeley had managed to cling to his office despite the scandal. Now, the media had returned to the subject years later, but this time, survival wasn't an option for Keeley. No amount of influence could shield him from a bullet. According to what she'd heard around the office and on the news, about a month ago, his new girlfriend had attempted to break up with him, and Keeley had gone into a rage. Unlike his ex-wife or any of the other women he might have battered during his life, this girlfriend had a gun, and she used it. After his death, when he was no longer politically useful, his former allies and connections distanced themselves from him, leaving the whole mess to the police and the DA's office to sort out. The official conclusion had been that the shooting was in self-defense, and the girlfriend, a woman named Brooke Raines, had not been charged with a crime. "You're his daughter?" Jessie said. She recalled now that Keeley had had a teenage daughter with his ex-wife, Carolyn Keeley. Carrie nodded. The girl finally pulled her hands away from Jessie's. She wiped her eyes. "I don't think I'm the right person to talk to," Jessie said carefully. "I sympathize with the pain you must be feeling at the loss of your father, but I don't want your sympathy. I want Brooke Raines to go to prison. She killed my dad. Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do? Send killers to prison?" "Your father's case wasn't that straightforward, Carrie. I can give you the phone number of the police." "My mom and I talked to the police 100 times. They won't listen to us." Carrie shook her head and looked away, lips trembling. "In the DA's office? They won't even..."